All right, Evan, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Monday, November 1st, 2021. So a bit of a choppy day here on Wall Street. Spiders looking to be slightly positive, cracking out a little bit of a gain here, but up just about 0.1%. Interesting stuff here going on. So we gapped above this trend line. And if we flip over to Spider Daily, so we talked about this trend line last week, and then now we're back testing it, obviously. But look at how we gapped above it, couldn't hold it, and then we saw some selling going into the morning session. So first of the month, there is always pension funds, mutual funds getting new money flow. And what we saw here was institutions selling into that. So they took the advantage of pumping the market into the pre-market session. And then once all the, the mutual funds and so on started buying, they were able to sell into that, let it up for air one more time, and then they sold again. So a little bit of distribution perhaps going on here. I want to show you something. So this was the first of the month in September. And look at what they did. They gapped the market up. So we had a gap up and then a lower close. We still finished green on the day, and then they did the same thing on the second, and that is the day that we topped out. And then we had the, the correction there. So potentially, similar type of action going on right now as we enter the month of November. We also have the Fed Wednesday, so that is something that we have to be on guard for, moving forward. Now, the big winner of the day is the IWM. So IWM threatening all-time highs here. Let's take a look here. So 234.53 would be the previous all-time high on the IWM. We are printing above 234 currently. Let's see if they juice it into the close. IWM getting a bid here, so let's see if they try to juice it in the close to get that nominal close of a new all-time high on the Russell. Also getting juiced today is Tesla, again up another 7%. What can you say? I guess just keep buying it at all-time highs because it only ever goes up, right? But anyway, Tesla just ripping higher. Let's take a look at the monthly candle. That is ridiculous October, and it is already starting off November ridiculously overbought as well. But when these things go parabolic, there's really no saying how high they can go, at least in the near term. But Tesla holding up, and that is carrying the market right now. Apple, retracing a little bit of Friday's gains. Amazon retracing almost all of them. So that is putting pressure on the Qs, but the semiconductors are helping hold the market up, as well as obviously Tesla, like we just mentioned. Also, in addition to some of the small caps here, like we talked about IWM, BlackBerry getting a nice push. I know I've been talking about that one a couple of weeks. I said I like this inside bar pattern. That's up 5% right now. GameStop up as well. Trying to get above that 200 handle. Let's take a look intraday. They did push it off the highs, but a close above 200 would be pretty positive for GameStop. I like this weekly pattern here. Nice inside bar. Now you're getting a jolt off of that. Could get up to the 220, 225 handle. That's where I would see some resistance maybe in the near term. But if we can get through that, it can get up to potentially 240 and then maybe 280. And if it really juices, maybe up to 300. But so meme stocks maybe have one more leg up in them, but we'll keep an eye on that. And again, the Fed can obviously change everything on Wednesday, so it's tough to really make a call right now. But GameStop up almost 10%. Let's take a look at energy. XLE up almost 2% on the day. Crude up 0.5%. Really still inside of the red candle from Wednesday, so we won't make too much out of it, but crude having a decent day. On the energy sector, nat gas is really the laggard right now. So we talked about this nice thrust that it had, and I said that it would probably have to do some backing and filling to get through 6.5. That's what's happening right now. However, if you hear me, you remember a week or two ago, I was talking about potential for a head and shoulders here. If we rolled over underneath that 20 moving average, well, we got through that. So I thought that was kind of, maybe out of the cards now, but that's looking to be a potential pattern here. If it can't hold this 50 moving average, it's going to go down there and test $5 again. And it could, potentially trigger a head and shoulders, which would take you down to about 334. So that would be right around this area here. This was your previous double top kind of breakout. I don't think it actually plays out to target if it gets there. I have a buy level much higher than that. You got a lot of support in here, so I wouldn't, bet on it getting all the way down to 335. But it is a potential pattern that could trigger. So just be aware of that on Bitcoin. Let's take a look here at bonds. So bond yields still positive, and strangely enough, they are positive. But if we take a look at the intraday, they faded really all day long, with the exception of the last half hour. And the IWM just doesn't seem to really care. So IWM just pushing higher even outside of that. So that could give some more validity to the theory where I suggest that we pull back to 1.4 and then we break out on bonds. So IWM essentially could be leading the bond market in that regard. But again, you know, with the Fed Wednesday, this could easily change because this could easily be a pump on small caps for all we know. But you know, as of right now, IWM's pushing higher and it is threatening all-time highs. So we'll just leave it at that. One other thing I want to touch on here is Bitcoin. So typically when you have a thrust like this and you pull back to the 20 moving average, you want to see a nice pop off that 20 that challenges that recent high, or at least takes it out. We had a pop Thursday, Friday, and now we're kind of coming back in and we're retesting that 20. It's holding it for now. Nothing wrong with the pattern. It's all above all 4 major moving averages. It's above support, holding this green bar. But if it loses that 20 MA, that would be a sign of short-term weakness here in Bitcoin. You want to see it really like pop off that 20 off of the first hit, and it's already retesting it after just a couple of days. So that's just a little bit of pocket of weakness there. Just wanted to point that out. And again, if we're going to have a major risk on move like the IWM is suggesting, Bitcoin needs to take off. And like Tesla is suggesting, then Bitcoin needs to take off. So I'll just kind of leave it at that, but just wanted to point that out for you. Just scanning through here, let's talk about the dollar really fast and we'll wrap it up. So dollar index pulling back in just a little bit, but still a nice, you know, holding this nice bullish pattern here. Nice thrust here on Friday. And again, dollar still threatening to break out. Let's take a look at the weekly. Love this pattern on the dollar, and it's kind of diverging, right? So we've got the IWM threatening to break out. We've got Tesla on complete just runaway train mode. We got the transports just absolutely ripping higher. But you know, we've got, you know, the dollar index also threatening to break out. So that is something to keep an eye on in the near term. One of them is lying. One of them's got to be lying, right? So that's something we're gonna have to watch going into the Fed. Outside of that, we won't make too much out of anything that happens until we see the market's reaction to the Fed. But in any case, you guys take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.